I wonder if we can recover. Wow. Woo! I wonder if we're back. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if YouTube can recover or not. Well, we shall see. We shall see what happens. We're streaming live again. We'll see what happens. That's as fast as I could fix it. Holy mackerel. Holy mackerel, internet. During the show, the whole building went dead. The whole block. Everywhere here lost power. That was pretty crazy. I don't know if that's going to handle the jump cut or not. I don't know. Wow. That was pretty crazy. I don't know. I'm unsure as to what happened, but we lost all power. The whole entire block lost power, and yeah, that was pretty nuts. So I'm not sure what's going on. I hope nothing bad happened to anybody. I will go take a look here in a little bit, but apparently we're back online for a minute. If we disappear, I don't know what to tell you. I think we lost. Hold on a second. We gotta go through the scenes here real quick. Oh, we had to go through the scenes there, and that's no good. So let me see here. We want to have to do. Let me go like this. Copy. Scene 4. Paste. There we go. Okay, so now we have another scene. Now I can make myself small. All right. So everybody's going to have to bear with me popping in and out of here for a second, because Phil's saying crazy electricals, but it was the whole neighborhood. The whole neighborhood lost power. So I'm not sure what happened. Hopefully everything's fine. Internet came back. I don't have no idea how well that's working right now. But the internet came back on, and we shall see. But if I pop in and out here, I'm going to be popping in and out here and see, as I have to build the new scene here. So this will take just a second. Ooh, let's make myself tiny. I'll put myself over here. Let's go add new source. We'll go over to media files. Wow, what is this? What? Wow, it's really reconfigured all the... Wow. Okay, all the file paths and everything are all crazy right now, but that's fine. We know how to navigate files and stuff, right? We know how to do that. Boom! All right. So at the very least, we will have a little bit of the old stuff going on in the background here. I need to get rid of this. There we go. I need to go over to this. Move myself down here. How about that? How about I go down here in front of this innocuous corner, and we shall chat a little bit. And sorry to all the patronizers. There's like gonna be no way that I'm gonna be able to. Let me see. How am I gonna answer the Patreon question? I'm not gonna be able to put the Patreon questions on screen. Maybe I can. Hold on. Let me move. I'm gonna move the chat over there. Yeah, sorry about the interruption in the show. I can see that the quality is super mad right now. It says that the stream health is like, heesh, not good. We lost a lot of people. Man, we jumped up to, we had a lot of people, and then a lot of them left because of the power outage. But we back, and things are happening, you know. It's all good. As I mentioned, the whole neighborhood lost power there. So I don't know. I looked out the window. Everybody else's power was off too. So, but it didn't hear any explosions or anything like that. And then it just came back on. So I'm not 100% sure as to what that was about. So, but let me see if I can't go back to this scene. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to Patreon. Hey, have you all been over to Patreon? Maybe we'll be able to keep the power turned on. Oh my god, did we get a new Patreonizer since the show started? Oh my god, Ed coming in, a brand new Patreon. We lost power, we got a brand new Patronizer. Thanks, Ed. And Lexi was already brand new today. We lost a few over the last couple days, I think. I don't know. I think from time to time I talk about political things or something like that, and people get super mad. And sorry about that, guys, but you know, it is what it is. I'm a human, you know. I'm not without flaws. I'm trying to continue moving forward. I realized that I had a crazy lack of information on a super chat on Wednesday's show, and I got to figure out how to make that right. I'm probably going to make a video. Maybe I'll go out. Maybe when I go out to like Rogue Aquariums or something, and we'll go talk to some of the. We'll go talk. Maybe Darren and I will go out and we'll go talk to some of the super experts, and then we'll answer the Brooke question. But that's just not really a good answer. You know what I mean? Let's see. So I'm gonna try and get to the Patreon questions here in a way that may or may not work. But let me see if I can do the smart selection. Let me see if I can do this. Let me see if I can do this thing. Because then now it gives me a blacked out screen. So I need to go like this. Oh, yeah, that might work. We might be able to do this live during the show, adding in Patreon questions from our homies. Oh, we don't have any text overlay anymore, do we? We have the old text overlay. Look at that. Yeah, blue shirt, blue overlay. How about that? Let's change the font color to banana. Yes, the font is banana. Okay, there we go. And we've got our first question of the day. Oh, and I hope Ginger, I hope I answered Ginger's question last week, and hopefully it's working out with her fish, because it just looks like she's been going through a real hard situation. Sounds like she's treating with the trio and everything. So, yeah, we'll move on to Chris Johnson, who has just finished his DIY background, is officially done and installed. It's a 1/4-inch foam insulation, carved up, painted with cheap acrylic brush-on paint, and sealed with 4 to 5 coats of polyacrylic, or polyacrylic, sorry. Probably a quick and easy project on a small tank, but a long and arduous pain in the buns project on an 8-footer. Glad it's done, and I suppose I'm happy with it. Only thing I pondered for quite a while is whether or not to add more gray, but we'll see how it works with water in it. Can't wait. Yeah, luckily, I think this will darken up quite a bit. I'm happy to say that you have an 8-footer here that looks like a 240, just like my 240, and I think you'll be happy with it regardless. But I do like the background here. I think personally I would have done a little bit of torching on the foam to kind of give it that real kind of rubbly look. But this is going to work out really well once the tank is like planted, once you got some fish swimming around in there and stuff. This is going to break up the background quite a bit, and I think it's going to work out in the way that you want. I just think what I was saying was I personally would have gone with a little bit of different touches, but I think it's going to work tremendously compared to just your standard background. I think it's going to work out pretty good, and yeah. I'm always excited to see awesome projects like that. Eric, coming all the way from Chicago, sending in 8 months in on a 120. I think this is Eric from Chicago. I think. I don't know. I got dad brain, you guys. Maybe it's a different Eric. I don't know. Either way, 8 months in, it's time to trim this moss. I'm going to type it in here. Time to trim the moss. Woo! That's how you type in. That's how you type in. Woo! Right? But that looks dope. I would definitely trim the moss back so your Styrogini down here can get some a little extra light and start spreading out. That's one of the things with the Styrogini is that if you get some direct light on it, it will start to carpet more. You know, that's kind of one of those things with it. It'll start to carpet more under direct light, a little less light, and it starts to grow tall and leggy like that. So I think I would trim that moss back a little bit, get a little more direct light on there, and hopefully kind of build that carpet in. But otherwise, looks healthy. Looks like a healthy system and doing quite well. I do definitely like the driftwood coming down towards the front of the tank like that. It probably looks dope in person. I'd hang out there and stare at that for a long time. M. Howie9 himself sent in my stream today, struck a chord with him in regards to the Hawaiian fisheries and the yellow tang and other marine captive breeding issues. So he posted up some awesome links here that you guys can go check out, you know, with the yellow tangs being bred. And I did look at some, I didn't go to the YouTube video that was on there, but I did go to the MBI workshop, and I also went to the yellow tang, what is it, the biota... whoever does the yellow tangs, I forget off the top of my head, but great article, definitely good to read on. Feels like an article from like 2 years ago, though. It feels like it's a little bit out of date because, you know, I literally talked to Heiko Blair about this in person like 18 months ago or something like that. And the yellow tangs were on the market then, those ones. So maybe this is like a different company or something like that. But it feels like maybe it's a different company that's catching up or something, right? So who knows exactly what's going on in regards to this. But it just feels like that article could have been like just like maybe a little out of date or something like that. But still great information and definitely worth checking out. That's for sure. J Homie 420. Hello to all you ladies and gentlemen from Tijuana. What's up? How you doing? Candy is back. Good to see you. Let's see. Derek Runyon says that is Eric Gone Mad. Okay, good. I was hoping that's Gone Mad Eric. He changed his screen name, so it's hard to remember who's exactly who. Alyssa Bentley says something to somebody in Atlanta. Oh, Sainer Kirby. I'm probably saying your name wrong, but hello, Atlanta. Good to see you. Banana is the best color for text overlays. Yeah, you're not wrong. That's for sure. Those of you showing up late, we did have a power outage, so that's what was going on today. So, you know, we have cool people showing up to the Patreon like Lexi and Ed, brand new patronizers today. Maybe they're... Oh, what is this? Oh, no. I can't change. It will mess with this if I change and try and go to any of the controls or copy any links or anything. So if anybody wondering what this is on the screen here, this is the chat, and I'll have it go and scrolling by. So if anybody's posting in the chat, where are you? What are you doing? I'm over at the Patreon page answering the Patreon questions. And right now we're talking about... Mike Howie sent in some great articles in regards to one of our shows that we were talking about some of the Hawaiian fisheries and stuff like that have been going on. You know, and I feel like a lot of people should just be putting their money into aquaculturing fish, and I think that's going to ultimately be a better avenue. Whether I'm right or wrong, let me know. It's just my opinion. No one has a crystal ball except for me, whether or not what's going to happen in the future is good or bad or not or whatever, but I just think that's going to be the better route as we move forward. Jay Swift, what's up, Jay? We got to hang out soon, but I'm super packed this weekend. Lucas Bretz is coming over tonight, so I got more cleaning to do. I just have to organize stuff. I don't want tripping hazards and things like that. with other people being over in my fish room and whatnot. So I've got that cleaning up to do. I think I have to go with Corey to, I don't know, I think we're taking the truck to go do something on Sunday, and I got to try and figure out how to get some fish to Alyssa. It's going to be a busy weekend, you guys. I got a baby here. Olivia's here. I need to take care of my daughter also. We had a great day early today. If you guys know or don't know or anything like that, I get up early, take care of baby girl all day until the sitter gets here at noon. Then I try to scramble and get the show together. And I'm just realizing that my schedule is just getting more and more jam-packed. I never really understood people when they said they needed a vacation, but I think I'm feeling that vibe right now. On a personal note, my depression is back. And that's not cool. It's not a great feeling, but we all do what we gotta do. Keep moving forward. One day at a time. Sometimes one moment at a time. And we gotta just get where we're going. Although I do feel like crying a lot. Personal notes in the live stream. Just put those off to the side. Anyhow, back to Jay Swift. Says the substrate is in and went and bought Stratum after watching the live stream. Ain't got no time for that lava rock nonsense. I'll sit on the scape for a bit to see if I really like it. If so, out comes the super glue. Then it'll be a trip to the coop for some plants. Yeah, hit me up before you go up to all the way up to the co-op for some plants. Maybe we can meet up there. A, maybe B, what's the word? Maybe B, I have some extra plants that maybe they don't sell at the co-op that you might want to get your little smart little hands on, my man. Jay's just one of those guys that, we'll probably end up being friends for a really long time. Mainly because he's good looking and real smart. That just seems like two viable reasons to me. Let's see. Let's see what's going on here. Candy says, check out the Amazon affiliate link. Yeah, that's right. If you're going to go buy stuff at Amazon, I don't know. I'm kind of tired today. But yeah, if you're going to go buy stuff at Amazon, do your thing. I'm just going to go back to answering questions. I don't know. I admitted too much about myself. That's okay. Let's go back to answering questions. It's easier to answer questions than not answer questions, right? Who sent this in? Big D Smoke, one of my brothers from what do you call it? Tacoma. He lives near here. Says looking for a little advice on a wet dry filter I got back when I bought a 130 gallon. Not knowing anything about them at the time, I didn't use it. I want to use it on one of my tanks. I'm wondering if it's worth using it, or would you suggest buying a new sump instead? It's a ProClear Aquatics. If I can use it, would you suggest using that first chamber where the skimmer went? Thanks for any advice. Yeah, so I do have some sump videos out there that do exist, reincorporating something like this into use, yes, I would definitely do that before you go spend any money. As you guys know, we bought some trigger sumps this year, and they aren't cheap. So if you got something that is you could already make good use of, you might as well make good use of it while you can. This obviously has a trickle tower, so you're going to have to come down into here. Water's going to come down through the wet dry, and I think it probably pops out this way and then back under, and then the return goes up there, I think, is how that goes. Either way, you're definitely going to have to do some modifications, but luckily, the modifications that you're going to do on this thing aren't that difficult, because you basically just need to utilize the bio balls, right? That's going to be part of your biological filtration. You get some ceramic rings, and then the rest is just put your heater down here and then make sure that water flow is correct until you can hit something that's going to polish the water column. As you guys know, I generally use the rolls of the PuroClean filtering. It's like filter floss material, but it comes in these big rolls, and I just cut it up to fit where it goes. So you'd basically be doing the exact same thing that I do anyhow, which is just get the roll and cut it into shape, whatever shape that you want it to be, and then you're gonna be on the right track. You're definitely gonna be on the right track to utilizing this thing. And then if you do decide to buy a new sump at some point in time, you'll have some information on making a choice for the one that you may or may not want to get. That would be my advice. Definitely use the thing. And I would definitely just keep using. I would use the thing and figure out exactly what you want to do with it, and then moving forward, if you're going to buy something, you'll be able to make a good decision. There we go. Hopefully, maybe I can get that out. I know that Big D Smoke is close to me here, so maybe I don't know. Maybe we'll figure something out at some point in time. Maybe we can meet up if I go down to Paradise or something like that. Admiral Blackbeard sent in something a new plant is doing. It closes at night. Don't worry. This is normal behavior and good behavior. Be happy if your plants are doing this. This is all part of the respiration process. They should be doing this at night, closing up and then reopening when it's time to photosynthesize. I forget the actual reason as to why it wants to do this. I think it makes it easier for it to actually release the extra O2 that it's carrying, but don't quote me on that. I just know that it's good. Brendan Wagner sent in an awesome picture which completely explains Hydra. Hydra is one of the planaria that you may or may not have to deal with in your life of freshwater keeping. Now, planaria are considered a pest by a lot of people, and there are a lot of people out there that will tell you that they eat baby shrimp or they're detrimental or this or that and the other thing. I don't personally feel that they're detrimental. I feel like they're an indicator of something that's going on in your system. And one of the biggest things about what it's indicating is, generally speaking, this means there's a lot of extra food in your tank. You're basically overfeeding. So the easy way to get rid of them, Hydra are pretty easy because if you kind of knock them loose from their footing, you can suck them out with a little airline tube, right? Send them on out, and that's not going to be that big of a deal. But do some water changes and lower the frequency and amount of your feeding. Like slow your feeding down. Get it down to a lower level, and eventually they won't have anything to feed on, and you'll be able to get rid of them. And then down here it says, thanks. He said, based on his YouTube research, I'll try to start starving them out. Not a big deal, as he's not breeding. Yeah. Generally speaking, if you don't, oops, what is this? Generally speaking, if this thing doesn't, yeah, generally speaking, if you're not breeding and having like little baby stuff that you're really worried about, planaria and Hydra really aren't that big of a problem. There's a lot of people that claim that their shrimp get eaten all the time. I've never seen that to be an actual situation for me. I know, my baby is crying candy. Olivia's having a hard time right now. I don't know why. We had a great day during the day today. I don't know why she's super fussy right now, but I'll do my best to go help Samantha out when we're done here. Makes me sad when she's sad. Somebody mentioned, hold on. What was it? Where'd it go? It's Nature Man said, I hope your depression goes into remission. I've had some hard times recently. I even thought about smoking the wacky tobacco, but I just tell myself I'm not going down that road again. Yeah, I'm not going down that road ever again. I was having a conversation with a friend the other day, and, I was having some discussions like medically a little while ago about some of the depression issues and stuff like that I have. And a lot of it has to do with crazy stuff in my past, which doesn't really have to go into or anything like that. But a lot of it has to do with head trauma, general trauma, lots of stuff that has happened in my life that I don't. No one needs the details because it doesn't matter. But that's just one of the side effects, and it comes and it goes, and it comes and it goes, and I'm not a big fan of it. But I will tell you that having been sober now, what is it, 1,712 days or something like that, it's way better now than it ever was. And I don't, if somebody out there like wants to give me a hard time because I cry sometimes because things are emotional for me, then cool. Good on you. Feel free to do whatever the hell you want. This is a free country. It's not my time to really listen to people that are that way, though. You know what I mean? I ain't got time for it. I got a bunch of other stuff I got to do. I got to host some people coming in tonight, and I got things I got to do. So, generally speaking, I just try to surround myself with good people and do work and do the things that I want to do, and it's all good. I'll just keep going and keep dealing with today, and whatever gets put in front of me, I'll do the best I can to deal with it at the time. Renee Hammer sent in a question, CO2 and water chemistry. I've been dosing CO2 for about 6 months, but in the past week, I finally got up the nerve to crank it up enough that my drop checker turns green. Tank is 75 gallons, temperature is 75, light is a Fluval Plant 2.0, pH is at 8. Now, this is weird. Why is your pH at 8 if your CO2 is that high? That's kind of what I'm wondering. What's going on here? KH is 10, GH is 10 out of the tap. Last night, some of the platies were hanging out near the top, acting slightly weird, so I checked the pH after the CO2 shut off for the night. It runs for 10 hours. pH was down to 7.6. So the question is this large of a daily swing a problem? And if so, what can I do to remedy it? I do not add anything to buffer right now, but the folks at Ocean Aquarium in San Francisco are encouraging me to. Okay, first of all, the folks at Ocean Aquarium are awesome. So take a little bit of their advice. You know what I'm saying? Take a little bit of their advice because they know what they're talking about. I've met them. I've been to that store. They know what's up. And if they're saying that you need to buffer your water a little bit, buffer your water a little bit. That's my exact same recommendation here. But a swing from 8.0 to 7.6 really isn't that big of a deal. Yes, it's a little bit of a pH swing, but let's say that your light and your CO2 is on for 8 hours. It's only dropped 0.4 pH, right? So that means that it's dropped 0.1 every 2 hours. So I really don't think that would be that big of a deal for... if this computer over here just keeps doing what it's doing, I'm going to throw it out the window. Sorry about that. It keeps popping notifications at me. Apparently Justin McElroy needs to talk to me. Which I'll get back at him later. And I'll karate chop him psychologically. But if your pH is only dropping that much, it's just not going to be that big of a deal. I wouldn't worry about it too much, but it does look like, first I would check your drop checker to make sure that the chemicals in there are correct and to date and all that kind of stuff. But the folks at the store are saying, you probably should buffer up your water a little bit. I would buffer up your water a little bit also. I do that too, so it's not really that bad of a recommendation, and I think you'll be fine here. Sounds like the Pleiades are, at the top because maybe the oxygen saturation is a little bit low, but I really wouldn't stress out that much about it, honestly, at this point. I wouldn't get that stressed out, and I would just buffer the water. Take the advice of those guys, because buffering the water is super cheap. It's not really that big of a deal. You're not talking about any kind of big monetary commitment or work commitment or anything like that. So, Ed's Fish says he thinks his pseudomugills are laying eggs, but it could just be a small air bubbles caught on things. Ooh, I hope they're laying eggs. Dope fish. Those good fish. Not necessarily my favorite fish, but you know what I mean. Turtle Girl just showed up and said, Olivia, I've missed so much. That's right. You have missed quite a bit. The baby has been here. Although I did see the Turtle Girl had Corey, Dean, and Jimmy. And I hope to see some videos from that coming out. You guys, they were up there Sunday or something like that. It looks like you guys had a great time. And, you know, I saw that Dean got cookies. And, you know, I don't know. I'm just saying, I know a guy who likes cookies. You know. If there just happens to be extra cookies lying around, you know, I'm just saying, somebody could let me know that maybe there's a cookie situation, maybe needs some attention. You know, I'm just spitballing here. You know, I'm just saying, coming up with maybe, you know, something to talk about. I don't know. All right, let's. I'm gonna close this window region here because every time I do anything on the screen over here, it keeps popping up on there. The last thing I want to do is accidentally do the wrong thing and post the wrong thing up on the thing. See, like I just accidentally opened up a vape shop window. I don't want to broadcast that onto YouTube. Those guys can do their own thing. I got a notification just from Patreon just now. Okay, there we go. Ed is brand new. Lexi was this morning. Okay, there we go. Yeah, mad props to you guys for patronizing. You know, it's hard for me to, like, I have to mention all this stuff, you know, and then it's like, you know, I have to talk about all this stuff, and, you know, there's just things like Amazon affiliates and blah, 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 but thanks, guys. I appreciate it, you know. Hopefully I help you guys out. I'm going to go straight to the live chat and see if we got any questions here. All About Alice says, what were you doing up at the Aquarium Co-op? I do work for the Aquarium Co-op. A couple days a week, I do work for Corey and the coop. If they need me to do stuff, I'm basically like hey, we got a crazy project, need your help. And I'm like, I can do that crazy stuff. I've been building like 60 cabinets for Corey at the coop. So we were just dropping off a bunch of stuff there at the warehouse, and Mr. Lucas Bretz himself was doing some filming and doing some interviewing and stuff like that. So I intercepted about 2 minutes and 28 seconds of their time and just came busting in. Just came busting in there. I figured I'd be like, hey, YouTube scoop, and let you guys know what's going on. Let's see. Sage is asking thoughts on my zebra Danio living in +5 Celsius water. What's +5 Celsius water? I don't know what temperature that is. Let me see. Let me look this up. Search Google. What is denser? Water at 3 degrees? What? Come on now. Below 20 is cool. Below 10 degrees is cooled. Plus, what is, so you mean just like 5 degrees Celsius? Because 5 degrees Celsius is like, what is that, like 40 degrees? I think it's like 40 Fahrenheit. Something like that. Maybe 41. You know, I wouldn't be shocked if they could live in that water, but I don't know. You just asked the same question again. I wouldn't be shocked that a lot of fish could adapt to cold water temperatures. You know, but are they? And Sage also says that they're breeding. So, all right. I mean, What are my thoughts on it? I wouldn't say that it's like a great environment for zebra danios to be living in, but I know that they're all around the world at this point, so I wouldn't be that shocked to find out that they're like around, and that could be happening, but I wouldn't expect it. And it's not something I would go for, you know, like it's not something I would be shooting to do, but sounds like you have it happening, and that's kind of cool. But yeah, I mean, as you said, they're breeding. I mean, they're egg scattering fish, so I mean, if they're scattering eggs around, but are the eggs hatching? You know, I don't know. I mean, it is possible that there are a lot of fish that can go all the way down way past freezing because a lot of them have antifreeze in their blood, and it's not really that big of a deal for them. But it's not something I would be like trying to do. Whoa, wine and wet sleeves says cookies for Joel. Turtle Girl, maybe if you pop by a certain reptile expo on Sunday, I might have something. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm going to make the reptile expo. I think, like I said, I might be going with Corey in the big old panel truck to go do something, secret missions. And that might just end up taking the whole entire day. So I don't know. I don't know if Sunday's going to work or not. Let's see, what do we got here? Let me scroll back a little bit and catch up while I was distracted. Bum, 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 bum. Dakota Davies says, I always try to find something to inspire a new project when life throws me that curve. Digging in back of closets in the garage. Well, that's always good times. Oh, Mr. Gillett just showed up. All right, well, that sounds good with the Zebra Danios. Looks like nobody else really has any questions. 120 people. Nobody has any questions. So, all right. That's cool. Hopefully everybody hit the like button. We did have the power outage today, so happy Friday to everybody. I think, did we get the video portion? I think we got to the video portion, right? Well, that's my aquarium, and, yeah. You guys can see me just messing around in there. I'm pulling out a bunch of the Wendetii crypts that I have in there to make space, and I got to pull some rocks out. All of this Anubias and everything that's off to the right here. That's that golden Anubias. I really like it, but it has a strong tendency to get algae growing on it, which is just kind of pissing me off. But that really. I'm having a great time with the golden. So, but other than just getting algae on it sometimes. But that Anubias, all the Anubias is going to come out of this shrimp tank. I'm going to move it all to the bamboo shrimp tank that I'm building for Vicky, which is going to be 120 gallons of bamboo shrimp, which I think they're on order. I think I ordered them or we just got ready to order them. So it's going to be pretty fun. That's going to be a super fun tank. I'm pretty excited to get it set up and get it running because it's going to feel good to have all the tanks up in there, in my fish room up and running. So it's just that empty tank that's just sitting there. And all I want to do is put shrimp and plants and stuff in it. And it's just sitting there, you know. And we'll get there at one point. But this is the 150 gallon right now. And it's coming along. I got to trim some plants. I got to pull some plants. There's some highlight videos I got coming up on some of the stuff that is going on in here. Dan Squire said he loves the new videos. As some of you out there may or may not notice, I think the easiest way to describe it is that I'm just gonna keep putting up content. I realistically at this point in time, I'm just gonna keep putting out content. That's just how it's gonna go. That's just what I'm gonna do. You know, I had a thought in my head that I was like, you know, we never even hit the Patreon goal that I'm supposed to be putting a edited video up. But you know, it's weird to have thoughts like that, and I think that's just associated with me being depressed right now. You know. And so I think I've decided to just say, like, screw it. I'm just going to keep putting out videos and doing what I'm doing. And If people like it, they'll like it. If they don't like it, then they won't like it. And that's fine. And I'm just going to keep moving on and doing the thing that I want. And I almost literally don't want anyone to actually even know what I'm doing. You know what I mean? Like, I would really enjoy it if there was, like, let's say this channel got to 1 million subscribers and all 1 million of them were like, I don't even know why I watch this channel. Like, yeah, I'm interested in the content and stuff like that, but I can't really explain it. I'd be like, that's perfect. There we go. Perfect. That's how I like it. Joel Gillett says, why does America use 120 volt system and not 220, 230? Of course we have 220, 230, Gillett. We don't put 220, 230 through all of our walls because we don't like to electrocute people. We don't need two legs on all of our electricity in order to run computers and lights and stuff. That's why we don't run 220 through the walls. 120 is not essentially not a deadly amperage. So if you do get electrocuted by 120, it will pop the breaker, whereas 220 has just enough juice to like can potentially give heart arrhythmia in healthy people. Now 120 could damage somebody who's unhealthy, but there's no real reason to do 220 inside of houses. That's why we don't do that. And most of the older systems that are out there have never been updated. You know, so it's like, you know, if you look at like Europe, they're like, oh, we're still on this 220. We're still running 220 and converting down. And that's why you have all the weird plugs and stuff. But, you know, in America, it got standardized. It got standardized by the government. We have the National Electric Code, the NEC, and we all have to follow that. It's Fish says, I've been shocked a ton by 120. I can't imagine more. So 220 is essentially two 120s. It's going to be both. Gillett says, so basically, finger in the plug in America equals no death. Finger in the plug in New Zealand equals possible death. Yeah, it's kind of the deal, basically. But you cannot run kettles in the U.S. It's how I made my coffee. I heat up my kettle, you know. Yeah, I don't know. Everything seems to work fine here. It's very rare that the power ever goes out. It's kind of crazy that the power went out, because that's one of only like 3 or 4 times in the 2 years I've been here that the power has gone out, and the other times was all storm related. So I don't know what that was. It's super weird, but all right. Well, we're coming up on the whatever, it's almost 4 o'clock. So I'm kind of get to the end. Justin Woody says, appreciate the content you've been putting out. It's helped me a ton. So thank you. All right, cool. That's kind of the point. You know, I don't necessarily ever consider myself to be an expert in anything. I just am somebody who's experienced in things, and I always just try to share my experience of things that I have done. Things that have happened to me, and, you know, things that I've been involved in, and, you know, things that have worked or things that didn't work. So, you know, as I mentioned earlier in the show, like, I'm an imperfect guy. I'm always trying to improve things that I do, you know. You know, so I'm glad that people like some of the stuff. Hopefully it has been helpful. I've definitely been trying to do that kind of stuff. Bruno Antunes, 120 volt is better to the copper sellers. Yeah, that's true. That is true. I mean, although I've seen some next level thin wire and some applications out there, but you know, it's also not strange to see like 10 gauge in walls in the U.S. all over the place. But I did pull the old knob and tube out of this house that was only 12 gauge, you know, and it was running a ton of stuff. But most of the electrical wiring in the U.S. is copper core, so it's pretty. The only big gauge stuff is aluminum. You'll see like really big aluminum stuff. Let's see. Kit McGee says in Australia, we are used to everything killing us, so electric is no biggie. Yeah, that's a good point. I think everything is pretty murderous in Australia. Although I did hear a podcast the other day that they were saying that what was it? Like an Australian hunter guy was talking about it, and he was like, yeah, you're pretty much okay as long as you stay out of the water. And the water seems to be where it's no dice. You know what I mean? Like, just kind of stay out of the ocean, stay out of the streams, stay out of the lakes, and you're pretty much going to be okay in Australia. You're saying that's pretty much just like the general rule of like, don't get murdered in Australia by things. Lumpy Dog is here saying, I suggest that many of us like the fact that you are real, straightforward, and pretty darn handy at so many things. Keep publishing content. Thanks. Yeah, well, I'm going to keep on doing content. I think I was overthinking it for a little while, honestly. I wanted to, I think everybody wants to economize the amount of effort that they're putting into things. And I guess the way to relate that would be like, well, if I put a video up, I want to get it to as many people as possible. And I think it's just going to happen the way that it's going to happen. So, and I think I'm just going to stop worrying about that and just keep making stuff and just move on. You know what I mean? Like, so, it's like that's going to be a real thing. Hebrew Hammer says Joel loves his Joe Rogan podcast. Yeah, I listen to Joe Rogan for sure. He has some really good people on there. Guests, that's for sure. Yeah, Mike Tyson on there yesterday. Like, come on. Did anybody else talk to Mike Tyson this week? I don't think so. James Leiser says, any time frame on the new CO2 art setup video? No pressure, just enjoying all of the videos and jealous of those rare crypts. As I mentioned, James, I'm going to do my best to keep spreading around rare plants and stuff as I get them. You guys know that I typically will hand off stuff to other local keepers and things. And I asked Bentley if he needed any plants, and he was like, "No, I'm good. I need to set up a new tank." And I was like, "Okay, thanks, Bentley, bruh." So, but I did. As far as the CO2 video goes, it will be coming out real soon from CO2 Art. I definitely, one of the things I was doing yesterday is I had to pick up, this CO2 Art actually comes with all of the crazy plug adapters. That's one thing I didn't realize. Wow. It's got all of them in it. So it's got, US. What is this? Asia somewhere? It's got the plug adapter for Europe. There's the European one. When European. And I think this is the Aussie one, right? What is this? New Zealand, Australia? Right? Maybe? Maybe not. I don't know. Could be wrong. I've never been to Australia, New Zealand. I wish. Someday, Victoria, we'll go there. Maybe we'll get a babysitter for Olivia. I don't know. Anyhow, the reason I had to stop, one of the reasons I was doing was I was grabbing this CO2. This is a dual stage. This is the professional one. This is the professional version. I actually have the Elite, and the setup I was doing was on the Elite. And so I needed to shoot some of the shots of the Pro. so that I could be like, oh, here's the difference between the two. Because if you guys run over to Aquarium Co-op and you order one of these, which honestly is the whole point, I'm testing it out. I've been messing with it. It works really good, so I'm not afraid to put out the video at this point. It works really good. It works really good, man. I use my good words for y'all, so then you know the good things from the bad things. Sorry about that. It works really well, and I'm happy to say that it's pretty quality. So I'm not afeared to put out the video at this point. You know, if I do have to get a few questions and things like that. So I basically am just reshooting some stuff. It is a sponsored video, so I do want to make sure that it's good enough that people will have all of the information. You know, if you have a bunch of questions, I want the video to answer the questions beforehand. But I do have to say that the either the Pro or the Elite are quite good. I just didn't have the video of the Pro one, which is this one, which is actually really nice. Just the only downside of the Pro is that it's not as easy to expand out to multiple tanks so that it can control multiple tanks. It's not. I don't think you can add on to the Pro versus the Elite. So, you know, if you're like me, I would recommend, you know, honestly, I would recommend just saving up a couple bucks, get to that point where you can get the Elite, because then you can just add those manifolds to it as you get more tanks over the years. You know, when I got back into fish keeping, my complete idea was, or I guess not fish keeping, aquarium keeping. You know, my idea was to literally set up a nano tank that I would just grow plants in. Ever so foolishly, I was like, you know, I was like, oh man, I'm just gonna do this one little tiny tank and play around with it. And you know, my whole idea was to have plants. You know, was to have some plants in my house, in my crappy apartment I lived in the ghetto where people got shot outside all the time. You know, that maybe I would have some plants in my life, and then I'd just have these plants in this little box, and it would be cool. And then there was another one, and then there was another tank, and then there was a tank. I got another one, and then all my plants outgrew all those tanks, so I had to get some more tanks, and then had to get some different tanks, and then add some other tank. You know how it goes. So I would personally get the Elite because I think it'll be a long-term better piece of equipment for anybody that's really involved in the hobby, growing plants, doing stuff. I would just go that route. Let's see. Well, Wine and Wet Sleeves with a $10 super chat says, I love what you do. We all do, Joel. That's why we're here. Lots of love to you and your little family. Well, thanks. You know, I got all these dogs here, so our family's getting big. We've got dogs and chickens and shrimp and babies and Vicky and a roof and a lawn, all that stuff. So it's not all bad. Everything's going pretty good. Our family's getting pretty big. Dan Squires with a 20-pound super chat. Thanks for everything. Keep on keeping on. Well, thank you, Dan. If it wasn't for people like Dan, Candy, 54 Punchy, Joel Gillett, Mellow Moogle, there's a lot of people to name. Those are the ones I'm just seeing right now. I mean, not to mention everybody else too. There's so many people that are the reason I would even be able to even show up for this thing. I don't know. Thank you guys for showing up, and I know it's kind of a thankless job, and it is my goal to someday be able to be, better at being able to thank people. You know what I mean? Like I have the short list of people that I'm gonna call as soon as I be able to hire people. Like, I have the list already made out. Like, let's go make a show. You know what I mean? And it'll happen someday. I don't know. Someday we'll get there. Maybe a cool company out there, like, I don't know. I was gonna say CO2 Art, but I've never even talked to them in person, so I don't know. Maybe here we go. Maybe Extreme Clean air pressurized duster. will sponsor a show, and I'll be able to make those calls. You know, I don't know. I wish I could pay the moderators, you know, that kind of stuff. Like, kind of a big deal. But thank you guys for always being cool and showing up. You know what I mean? Alvin Alejo with the $10 super chat with the surprises. I can't even do it right anymore. I'm just not even that good. But Bay Aquatics, $2 super chat says, hello from Berkeley, Ludwigia Mini Super Red. Does it need CO2? The Ludwigia Mini, the Super Red is typically palustrous, and I would say that it doesn't necessarily need CO2. There's not really any plants that need CO2. It's, you think of it this way, it's just a better form of like nutrition for your plants. So here's like the parallel. It's like if you ate cheeseburgers every day, you probably wouldn't die, but you probably also wouldn't be feeling that good, and you probably wouldn't be in that good of shape. You know what I mean? You wouldn't have that great endurance or anything. But, you know, if you throw some fruits, you throw some vegetables in there, you vary your intake, all that kind of stuff, you're probably going to be a much healthier person. And that's the same for plants. You know, giving them CO2 allows them to utilize the nutrients that are around them a lot better, so they're able to grow. Kit Kat McKee says, Blue Apron. I should get Blue Apron as a sponsor, right? And that could be like, as a former chef, I tell you, Blue Apron's the jammy jam, jammity jam, and you should Blue Apron in your mouth. Oh, right? Something like that. But, yeah, the only companies that want to sponsor me right now is the Aquarium Co-op, who's our affiliate sponsor. So the way that works is that if you guys click through our affiliate link and go order things from the Aquarium Co-op, we get a kickback. The same thing happens with Amazon, but it's not like an active thing, whereas Corey is actually, you know, he's pretty actively sponsoring the show. It's just the best way to do it is through affiliate, because it's like, I'm not going to ship stuff to you guys or anything crazy like that, but the Aquarium Co-op handles shipping all that stuff, and they're like about 1 billion times faster and better at that than I am, so why wouldn't we just let them do it? It's good prices, it's good people, it's good quality stuff. So, yeah, why wouldn't I team up with my friend Corey, who was not my friend because we didn't know each other that well, and then eventually we got to know each other pretty well. We flew to, you know what I mean? Like, we flew to Europe a couple times. We drove all around the country. We flew to Michigan and Minnesota and some other, I don't know, Jersey. We've been through a lot. Me and that Kobe guy, we've been through a lot. And I trust those guys, and I trust everybody that works there. So, there's just no real reason not to affiliate those guys. And maybe you want to buy some products somewhere else or something. That's totally cool, too. See how that works? This is low-pressure sales. You know what I mean? Just like, go buy something if you wanted to buy something, and if you didn't, then don't. Right? That's how I feel about it. Dakota Davey says, Joel, you could do the Fishroom equivalent of overhauling or pimp my ride. You darn right. That's what I want to do. I have mentioned that many times. I tried to put that together with Chris Lukup from Dennerle in Germany. We actually went out there and stuff, and I don't know. Maybe it's still on the table. Maybe it's not. I don't know what's going on with that. I would love to do that show. I would love to be working on that show and actively be doing it. Yeah, that's kind of one of the reasons I don't want to go to any of these conventions anymore. It's like a monumental waste of my time to go talk to these companies. You know, I guess if my channel had like 1 million subscribers or something like that, I guess I could go talk to the companies and then maybe they'd want to do something. But I'm going to be honest with you guys. I see how they treat people with 1 million subscribers. So who cares? You know what I mean? Like at this point, I don't want to go to conventions for free. I don't want to do, I don't want to spend a bunch of money going to conventions. It's not even going to conventions for free. It's like if a convention, let's say MACNA, let's say that MACNA has $4 million to put on the show, right? And the only thing that they offer to people who make YouTube videos and stuff about MACNA is, well, you get a free ticket to go to the show. It's like, okay, but that's like literally the most minimal thing that they could possibly do. Because if I really wanted to, if I wanted to go to MACNA, wherever it is this year, last year it was in LA, so let's just use that as the example. Or maybe it was in New Orleans, or last year was it LA? Maybe it was Vegas. I don't know. Let's just use Los Angeles as the example. Like if I fly down to Los Angeles, airfare is probably between $600 and $900, something like that, depending on the time of year. Maybe I could find a cheaper flight, maybe not. Let's say I find a super cheap flight and it costs $500. Let's say I find a super cheap hotel and that's $500. So we're at $1,000. Let's say food and I'll have to park at the airport, blah blah blah, all the incidental stuff. Let's say I go super cheap and that's $300. Like let's say I'm out $1,300 to go, and tickets to get into MACNA are like $25 a day for 3 days. Like spending the $75 on the passes isn't really that big of a deal. So giving me free passes at that point, it's like, oh, this trip's going to cost $1,400 instead of $1,300. You see what I'm saying? And the way that I see it is I don't think it's working out that great for subscribers if I take all that money and all that time and all that energy and fly somewhere and then make a 5-minute video about, here's a convention that there's 100 videos about, right? So my plan now is to literally, if let's say that Vicky was really wanting me to go to Aquashella or something, right? Let's figure out what the budget is for that, and I'm going to do a project that is the same amount of money for that, and just make a ton of videos about doing that project. That's what I'm going to do moving forward. Let's see. Joel Gillett says, wouldn't want to be traveling in the States right now with that shutdown going on. Well, if you're like me, I have TSA pre-check and all the credentials that I go wait in the little line with like 10 people in it. You should get that done, but it's unfortunate you can't go get that stuff done right now because the government's shut down. Yikes. So that's kind of one of those things. You should just get all that done. I do want to get the what is it, the World Pass or whatever. I don't remember the name of it, but I want to get that figured out. We have a super chat I missed. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not used to getting super chats anymore. Big D Smoke says, thanks for the sump advice. I definitely appreciate it. And all the great content you put out. One thing that comes with success are the haters, unfortunately. Yeah, it's just life, man. That's all good. That's just humans. You know what I mean? Like, that's just humanity. Sometimes humanity gets out of hand. You know what I mean? And then the humans are just going wild, right? So let's just we'll not dwell on that. Sometimes they're a little bit nutty. Uh-oh. It's telling me that Justin wants to talk to me. It's cool. Thanks, computer. I get it. Anyhow, we got 4:15. It's going to be time for me to go. I'm going to have to come up on the end of the show. Hit that like button. If you didn't hit the like button, share this out, whatever, all that kind of stuff. Go find a different video and share that out. Send it over to your grandma. Maybe she wants to watch something. Go over to the Patreon. Check out the Patreon. Go over to the Amazon. Do the Amazon. Go over to Aquarium Co-op and order all of the stuff, and make sure you click my affiliate so people know that you bought the whole entire store. Because if you're a baller like that, dude, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Donald's Fish Vibes with he's got a good he's got a response here I would like to respond to. It says, Corvus, that makes sense. Maybe you can go do one convention a year to meet your fans. I will go to conventions if I can. The Aquatic Gardeners Association happens to be near to me, so that I'll be able to actually be there. I'm going to help set up. I'm going to blah, blah, blah. I'm going to do all that kind of stuff. And I will be at the Aquatic Gardeners Association. That is in the first weekend of May. So that will give us time to plan on that. That's coming up. And that will be one that we'll all be able to go to. There's like a Reef Works thing coming up fairly soon, so I'll probably be going to the Reef Works, which is near here. There might be one convention that I go to. Like, I might go to Aquatic Experience again. I might go somewhere else. I don't know. But I feel like it's really cutting into my production budget and stuff like that, that like if I'm going to go take and put all that energy in and stuff, I don't even come back for anything for you guys, you know. And I love... You know, like there's a perfect example. I got to meet. Now I'm drawing a blank. Oh no, I'm drawing a blank. Where is it? It's somewhere in the depths of my mind. Hold on to your horses. Where's my email? It's Annette. Let me see. I think they emailed me at one point. Where did it go? Oh, man. I don't think I'm going to find it. Ugh. All right. I'm sorry. I wanted to give you guys an example of some of the people that I met at the Aquatic Experience that I otherwise wouldn't have met. You know what I mean? Hadn't I gone? But it's Annette and Ira. Ira and Annette. And I can't remember their last name right now. But Ira and Annette, you guys know who you are. Hopefully you listen to the end of the show. Like, I wouldn't have met them. You know, I wouldn't have been able to meet them in person. And I will be giving a little bit of a shout out to them and the Hand family who sent me some handmade stuff also. I see, like, I wouldn't have met those guys. I wouldn't have met them if I hadn't gone. So it's not like I'm not going to go. It's just it really cuts into my production budget. And the way that I think about it is, like, I could make some pretty cool videos with $1,500 if that was my budget. So, I mean, even at the very least, I could go to the dollar per gallon sale and buy $1,500 worth of dollar per gallon tanks and then, like, fill them up and run into them with my car. At least that would be a better video than, like, here's everybody at a convention, right? You know what I mean? Like, at least it would be like, oh, this guy's crazy, you know, and you'd be like, I've never seen that before. Whereas I've definitely seen a lot of convention footage. I've seen that over the years, right? So that's just the way I see it. I don't know. There's always somebody's going to be upset if I say that that's the case. So it's not necessarily about anybody. You know, if you're upset, I'm sorry. It's not about you. It's about me. And I just want to do the best I can for all of these peeps. You know what I mean? What is this? What? Ugh. I'm always getting, like, the worst emails ever. I don't want to know about taxes right now. Just, it's the 18th of January. Don't send me that email. All right. So we're coming up on the end of the show, and I got a jam, and hopefully you all are having a beautiful, beautiful weekend. I'll see if I can get holler at you over the weekend. Thank you, James, Whoa Wine and Wet Sleeves, Dan Squires, Big D Smoke, Baby Aquatics, and Alvin Alejo. Thank you very much for the super chats of the Friday variety. Now it doesn't matter if we got demonetized, even though the power went out. All right, guys. I love y'all. Have a fantastic weekend out there. If CJ hides this button one more time,